This is a French film about three 40-something-year-old friends, Sonia, Cecile, and Elise, who go on a vacation to the French Riviera. The initial plan is to help Cecile pack her things from the family house because she wants to sell them. The plan is changed when Elise gets involved with younger men, which leads to the girls being involved with younger men too. It all starts when Sonia, Cecile, and Elise drive to the house. We get a peek at their personalities. Elise is a wild and divorced mom with a daughter named Nina. Sonia is not married and doesn't have children, but she is seeing a married man, Pascal. As for Cecile, she is conservative and often very quiet. This could be because her husband, Laurent, has passed away, and her two children, Melly and Leo, are at a camp. During the road trip, Sonia chastises Elise for receiving a call while driving. She seems uneasy about the drive and has been holding onto her seat. Cecile worries that she has a lot to do when she gets to the house. She speaks about the buyers coming to look at the house and also clearing out the house. Sonia tells her friends that she would not stay for the entire vacation because she is joining Pascal and Ibiza for some days. Elise immediately thinks that she is abandoning them for a man, like she usually did in school, but Sonia assures them that she couldn't say no to him. He asked her to go with him so that they could spend time together. Sonia believes that Pascal is going to leave his wife, but her friends mock her, knowing the nature of men. They call it pathetic, but she cries out that this time, it is different. As Elise drives, the car behind her begins to beep loudly. She gets angry and decides to let the car pass by. Before she swerves to the right, she tells Sonia to hold the steering wheel. But as soon as the car comes to their side, she flashes them. After that, the police arrest them and put them in the back of the squad car. Sonia chastises Elise for attempting to give the police officer a exchange for the police leaving them. They arrive at the house late at night, where everything is covered up with a white sheet and packed in boxes. Cecile quickly remembers her husband. While they look around the house, they see a pelican in the room. The next morning, they continue to pack up. They plan to take out the pelican from the house by attaching a rope to its head, but it doesn't work. Sonia texts Pascal throughout the whole ordeal. Elise signs Cecile up for a date and tells her that she should meet someone new. Sonia and Elise complain about being indoors and express the need to go out for air. So, to relieve some tension, they go out to sail. Sonia and Elise are on the speedboats, enjoying themselves. The hot boys, Julian and Paul, begin to ogle at them, commending their bodies. They quickly devise a plan for the women to notice them after taking off their shirts. They push a little boy into the beach and begin to yell that he is drowning. In concern, Sonia and Elise drive over to their side to inspect the boy. Paul humorously blames the women for driving too fast and close to the boy. In response, the women apologize. The boys ask if they could teach them how to drive. Elise quickly notices their seductive schemes and rejects them. The boys further joke about the right flexible positions that would require them to ride well. Elise flirts with one of them, telling them that she could teach them how to shave. Before the women leave, they compare the boys to David Hasselhoff. While they are relaxing on the beach, Sonia leaves Pascal's voicemails, worried about his whereabouts. She also presses that he finds out more about the hotel and gets back to her. Elise asks Sonia how he is doing, and also annoys her by asking about his kids and wife. Elise notices a woman from her past, Marie Christian, and tries to hide from her. Sonia and Elise make fun of her. Cecile doesn't want to talk to her because she knows that she would be asked about Laurent. To hide her, Sonia falls on her, but it doesn't do anything as Marie Christian notices her. They hug and Marie Christian asks about Laurent. Cecile promises her that she is going to sell the house and that the children are over at the camp. Elise quickly suggests swimming so that Mare would leave them alone. She notices a shirtless man, Thomas, jogging around the beach and lusts over him. Sonia smiles and suggests that Thomas would be the best match for Cecile. Cecile quickly rejects the idea and says that she is a widow, and therefore no one would be interested in her. Thomas jogs over to them to say hello to Marie. Marie introduces the ladies. He jokes that he would hug them, but he is sweaty. Cecile begins to talk off point by saying that jogging is bad for them and could result in a heart attack. Sonia and Elise decide to go to a club, Dakar, to dance while Cecile stays at home. They are in the queue to enter, but everyone keeps moving past them. Louise, the club manager, and a blonde young girl refuse to let the women enter and make jokes about them being old. She requests their membership card and the ladies joke that it is with her mom. Angered, Louise pushes them aside. A drunk attempts to manhandle Louise and she gives him 5 seconds to leave her sight. When he doesn't, she gets physical and beats him up. Sonia and Elise wonder how strong she is. They are about to leave when the boys show up. Paul asks that Louise let them in. She also crushes on Julian and tries to get his attention, but he's not into her. Even though they hooked up over the summer, he doesn't want her. Elise and Sonia follow the boys to the club and go to the bartender. They want a drink, but the boys reveal that they stashed a bottle in the club, and the drinks in the club may be too expensive. Elise buys them drinks. Later on, they get to dance. Jealous, Louise decides to get into their face and dance against them. It doesn't work as no one is interested in her. She tries her luck with Julian, who rejects her again. Elise and Sonia dance with the boys. Later on, they decide to leave. The boys boys try to persuade them that there is an after-party, but Elise wants to go home. Meanwhile, Paul tries his luck and kisses Elise, to her surprise. On their way out, Elise complains to Sonia that he was too confident for kissing her, and she ought to file a complaint, but she loved that it was a good kiss. They return home to see Cecile on the floor, sleeping. After crying, Cecile decides to do puzzles because she is bored. The girls mock her before going to bed. The next day on the beach, Paul and Julian watch the women play volleyball with Thomas. Later, Thomas and Elise talk. He reveals that he has a child named Satya and has been separated from his wife for 3 years. She asks him why he wasn't at the club last night, and he answers that he prefers to stay at home and watch television. They all have lunch at Cecile's house. Thomas loves the house and tells Cecile that if she ever needs another buyer, he would be interested. He talks about his child, and Sonia asks him why he let his child go on vacation. Thomas gives a rude response, stating that if she was a parent, she would know that kids are supposed to be kept busy during vacations. After he excuses himself to go to the bathroom, Sonia and Elise talk about how rude he is. Paul, Julian, and Marcus show up. Unknowingly, Cecile gave them the address and invited them over when she was drunk at the club last night. Cecile has known Marcus for a long time. He used to babysit her children. She tells him that she is selling the house. To catch up, she later invites them to dinner. Thomas walks back from the bathroom and sees the boys. Elise is upset when he begins to humiliate them, throwing their menial jobs in their faces. Thomas starts by insulting them, saying tequila is good when you're drunk, taking jabs at their drinking habits. He later says that when he was their age, he got a job and hit on girls, but was also settled on his career. Off-put by the weird atmosphere, Elise kicks him out and says that she doesn't like how condescending he is. After dinner, the women play table tennis with the boys. They then sit to engage in small talk. Cecile is uncomfortable throughout because she doesn't want them to be there. The boys talk about their careers and how they all took a gap year to focus on more things. Paul teases Elise, saying that he left school to focus on her. Cecile leaves the table to call her daughter. She is worried about her well-being. Then, Marcus comes in to throw the pizza boxes away. They make small talk and he, once again, expresses the wish to meet her children. She assures him that they have grown. While the ladies dance with the men, Cecile decides to take a walk with Marcus. He recalls her putting her hair up with a pencil and comments that it was always beautiful. Cecile blushes and tells him that she always wanted to break the wall covering the garden, but Laurent was never on board. Marcus urges her to take chances. In the room, Julian and Sonia watch as Elise and Paul dance sensually to a song. Julian is attracted to Sonia but can't make a move. Weirdly, Sonia begins to show him things on her phone and tells him that she manages a group of singers. She inquires about his tattoos, especially the one that says Lee. He tells her that it is not his girlfriend but his mother. He later asks if she is jealous, but she doesn't answer as Pascal sends a message. He unknowingly sends a video of him begging a woman for intimate favors. Sonia calls the girls to see the video. They are confused about the words he used at first, until Paul explains what Pascal was doing. Cecile is outraged and speaks up immediately. She takes a shot from the tequila and speaks about how much she hates the situation. The others are confused because of how vocal she's being. She then decides that they are going out for ice cream. Even though the place is closed, she breaks into the ice cream stall and steals a tub of raspberry ice cream. In the car, they all dance and drink. Marcus watches her in awe and loves how she is behaving so freely. Elise and Paul make out in the car. Julian is uncomfortable as Sonia sits on him. Cecile suggests that they should go skinny dipping. Julian can't take the pain anymore and asks Marcus to stop as he feels sick. The men are out of the car and decide to go skinny dipping. They notice that he was getting aroused by Sonia. The girls arrive at the beach and take off their clothes. They rush to the beach and enjoy the warm water. Returning to the car, Cecile realizes that she locked the keys inside the trunk of the car. They're afraid that an animal may be out there, so they get into the car, using the roof, and later fall asleep. Thomas, who is going on his evening jog, sees them in the car. While he attempts to help them open the truck, he apologizes to Elise about his behavior toward the boys. She chastises him for not having manners and treating others like they are beneath him, so he leaves. Paul sends thirst trap messages to Elise, who begins to send hers. She sends a picture of her legs. In response, he texts her that women fall in love with what they hear, while boys fall in love with what they see. She then decides to take a picture of her. Sonia bursts in and asks her to take it for her. Sonia suggests that she takes one in the mirror to show how cute it is. Cecile walks into the room and cries that she lost her bracelet, and is upset, so the girls start to look for it. Cecile begins to worry that she may not find it. She later accuses the girls of being the reason she lost it. Sonia rebuffs, stating that it was her idea to go for ice cream and swim in the first place. When Sonia gets a call, Cecile chastises her that she shouldn't pick up Pascal's call. She flings the blame on Sonia because of Pascal and also Elise for inviting the boys over. She cries that none of it would have happened if they were just cleaning the house instead of chasing after the boys. She tells them to leave while she mourns the house. They then pack the things. When Elise says that she is going to pack, Cecile apologizes for what she said and appreciates them for being there with her. Paul later texts Elise with a picture of himself. She sneaks him in, and they get intimate. He returns home to the boys and talks about Elise being fit for her age. He persuades Julian to get intimate with Sonia. They go to a restaurant and then meet up with the ladies. Marie shows up and the boys make fun of her. The ice cream man says that he can't find the ice cream because someone stole it from him. He tells them that he found a bracelet and would sell it. Cecile is unable to say a thing because she is ashamed of Marie's promises to take care of the situation. Cecile becomes uncomfortable as people look at them. They wonder if they are cougars. Paul laughs and says you're MILFs. Cecile is confused about the name, but Elise tells them the meaning, which upsets Sonia. They go to the beach and see Louise, who berates them for being grannies. Louise is entering a racing game at the beach. Elise and the others decide to enter just to prove Louise wrong. The women get on the horse and prepare to race. When the race starts, Cecile leads. Louise and Sonia get competitive. Louise tries to push her off the horse but instead falls to the ground. Cecile wins the race and is celebrated by Marcus. When they try to go home, Cecile doesn't see the car. Elise and Paul decide to go home to have alone time. The boys invite them to the house and they drink. Elise is given a rolled-up blunt for being the winner. Meanwhile, Sonia announces to the boys that she is leaving for Spain, and Julian is sad that she is going. He tries to kiss her, but she dodges it. Back at the house, Elise and Paul make love. In order to spice up the moment, he asks her if she has ever played Yes Master. She is confused about the game until he explains it to her. She admits that it is intriguing and decides to take part. She asks him first for a striptease. He begins to take off his clothes and she watches in amazement. He strips directly in front of her. She teases that he is the smallest she has ever seen. He calls her a liar and asks for her next orders. She asks him to do the helicopter blade where he attaches a sock over his genital and dances. They start to kiss. Cecile and Sonia get home. Cecile is upset that Sonia is still going to see Pascal even after everything he has done. Julian sneaks into Sonia's bedroom. She is thrilled to see him but says she would love to pack for her trip. They start to talk but she gets a text message from Pascal. He informs her that he had to go to Paris and won't be able to make it. In response, she starts to cry. Downstairs, Cecile smokes. Meanwhile, Julian comforts Sonia. She then kisses him and they start to get intimate. During lovemaking, Julian is having problems. She asks him if he has ever gotten intimate with an older woman. He confesses that he pleasured himself before coming to her place so that he could impress her. She laughs at his attempt. Sad, he wonders if he wants her to leave and she replies no and suggests that they cuddle. Meanwhile, Cecile is stoned and gets a call from her daughter, who informs her that they might expel her son, Leo, for sleeping with a 25-year-old man. Instead of panicking, Cecile says that it is perfectly okay. While her daughter talks to her, she looks at Paul. She slurs out some nonsense and her daughter wonders if something is going on. In the bathroom, Elise and Paul shower together. He asks her for her next orders. He worries about how he's doing, and she tells him that it was perfect but pleads that he should be a little gentle sometimes. In the morning, Julian wakes up alone and answers Sonia's call when Pascal calls. When Sonia comes in from the bathroom, he tells her that he mistakenly answered her call. He thinks that she is upset with him. Instead, she kisses and cuddles with him. The boys play fuzzball. Paul jokes about his time with Elise, hinting at intimate jokes. He brags that they went at it 7 times. Paul asks Julian if he slept with Sonia. In response, Julian tells him to mind his business and to be more respectful towards the women. While on the beach, Cecily warns Elise and Sonia that they were in the house to help, and not to treat it as a motel to sleep with each other in. Elise tells her to stop judging them because there are women who have been with younger people. Sonia says that she was sad about Pascal's email. Cecile once again castigates Pascal for being a big liar and warns Sonia to not get back with him. Cecile watches her friends and their love interests play on the beach. Marcus joins her and asks her if she is okay. She worries that he feels obliged to spend time with her. She finds a problem with her friends being active with younger men. He makes her laugh by making cute jokes and hinting that age is nothing but a number. On the shore, Paul admits to Elise that he had been with other women, but she is more fun. He teases her about the texture of her skin, which she finds insulting since she is old. He spots some young woman walking into the beach, so he asks her for a swim. She refuses because she knows that he wants to get close to them. Her client approaches her on the beach and believes that she is on vacation with her family. Paul returns to the shore and smacks her behind. The client is shocked that she is with a younger man. After they leave the beach, Elise jokes that the client would never want to see her again. She complains about being a tax lawyer and says that she made the wrong choices. Paul urges her to quit, but she doesn't think it's possible. She speaks about wanting a family lawyer, but there are some problems attached to it. He suggests that she should keep her job as a freelancer and find time to study and become a family lawyer. The women and the men all spend more time together. Sonia ignores calls from Pascal. Marcus helps Cecile with packing the house. Elise gets a visit from her young daughter, Nina, and they spend time together. The next day, Elise takes Nina to go sailing. Elise and Sonia watch Nina help Paul with the boat. Sonia confides in Elise about breaking her relationship with Julian. She wants a mature man. Elise tells her that age doesn't measure maturity. She argues that it might not be the best thing for her. Sonia decides to talk to him and they go to the place and get intimate. He tries to joke about not pulling out early since she could get pregnant. Although she wants to break up with him, she can't, especially since he expresses that he wants to have a child with her. Marcus gifts Sekli a necklace which the girls make fun of. She announces that she is going shopping and Marcus immediately wants to go with her. Elise watches Paul play with Nina and is impressed. During shopping, Marcus tries on glasses for Cecily and calls her beautiful. He tells her that she looks great like the woman in the movie Graduate, and she wonders where he knows the movie from. Marie shows up to give her the bracelet and she is happy. Back at the house, Paul jokes that it is weird seeing Elise as a mom. Elise is falling in love with him and wants to ask him to move in with her. She asks him questions about the end of his summer program and where he lives in Paris. She suggests that he come stay with them. He is not very open about it and promises to drop by when he can. She notices that he is texting someone on the phone and gets jealous. She asks him if they could spend some time together at night. He rejects her offer, telling her that she should spend some time with her daughter. It makes her emotional and she leaves for the kitchen to cry. Sonia sees her and comforts her. The next morning, the girls surprise Cecile in bed and tell her to not do anything. They say that they are throwing a party. The women and the boys prepare for the party. They see Louise by the road and she starts to make out with the girl to provoke Julian and the women. Thomas then joins Louis at the table, which reveals that he may have something to do with her. Elise worries that Paul is withdrawing from her when he doesn't show up for the preparation of the party. In the kitchen, Cecile and Marcus flirt with each other. He proposes that they can go sailing if she is stressed. They are distracted by a sound outside. Louise decides to throw trash in the car and shouts at Sonia for stealing Julian away from her. Julian tells her that he was never hers. In response, Louise takes a piss in the car. The party starts with everyone dancing. Nina starts with a dance with Julian. Elise sees Paul getting handsy with another woman. She takes a shot and decides to take Nina to bed. Julian and Sonia talk. She tells him that she left Pascal but not for him. She talks about their age difference and doesn't know how the relationship would work. She worries that she is complicated. In response, he gets upset and leaves the party. Elise notices Paul come upstairs. She hoped he was coming to look for her, but he wanted to use the restroom. He decides to break up with her. He can tell that she is sad, but she tries to cover it up. He explains how worries that he won't be the right man for her. They share an embrace. While he and Marcus dance, people wonder how she could be so comfortable with a younger man. Marie fights for her and tells the men that she can do whatever she wants. Elise dances alone and Paul watches her. Sonia traces Julian to a place and gets scared once she sees him hanging over the edge. She worries that he wants to. He says he is looking at the stars. She tries to get on the rail but fails because she is in pain. He holds her closer and they embrace, while he cries in her arms. In the morning, Elise tries to arrange the house. Cecile decides to break down the wall with the help of Marcus. During breakfast, she says that she wouldn't sell the house again because it has so many memories. In the final moment of the film, they watch the pelican on the roof while holding hands.